Our next speaker, it's the keynote address, Owen Hegarty, OAM, Executive Chairman of EMR Capital. Owen has some 50 years of experience in the global mining industry, including 25 years with Rio Tinto Group, where he worked in most of their commodities companies and countries. He then led Oxiana from junior explorer to multi-billion-dollar base and precious metals company. In 2010, he co-founded EMR Capital, a specialist mining private equity company, which now has 8 mining projects in operations worldwide. Owen was awarded the Order of Australia Medal in 2021 for his services to the mining and minerals sector. Please welcome Owen Hegarty.
Good on you, Liam. Thank you very much for that. All protocols respectfully observed. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, Honourable Ministers, distinguished guests, everybody, thank you for the opportunity to have a bit of a go here today. And congratulations to Bill Reppard and Pay Dirt on 21 years of doing this. Well done. Looking forward to the next 21. And congratulations to Carl Sumich and Sandfire. Just wonderful, wonderful example of Australia and Africa and international generally cooperation. So really, really terrific work, Carl, and congratulations to you and your team. Okay, so just, Liam, a few slides here going forward. Just a few things that I wanted to cover here today. If it's okay, we'll talk about the stronger for longer demand for all of our commodities. Copper a winner, and Carl's already spoken about that, and I think that your inbox every day gets jammed up with people talking about copper and other critical minerals, of course, so we don't need to talk too much about that. Terrific resource advantage in the whole of the African nation and all of the countries there. Great opportunities between Africa and Australia, multilateral, bilateral, unilateral, and so on. So wonderful opportunities there, and a little bit of unabashed advertising for EMR Capital and the companies that we have, and particularly want to just case study a little bit and draw your attention to our Labambi copper mine there in Zambia. So that's the target, Liam, to get through that as quickly as we possibly can. Okay, so where are we going in the world here with respect to the macros? And Liam and others have already drawn attention, and the Deputy Minister already drawn attention to some of the things that are actually going on in the world at the moment. So quite a few moving parts out there. But one thing is very clear to us, and that is we continue to be in for long, strong demand in mining and resources and metals and commodities generally. And here's a little chart here of the ASX. Anyway, over the last 20 years, resources has actually outperformed everything. And as far as we are concerned, we'll continue to do that for the next 20 plus years. And effectively, the next super cycle is on the way. Importantly, a couple of, plenty of humps and bumps along the way here, and you've got to expect the humps and bumps, no question about that, but the direction and the force is perfectly clear. And a couple of bumps here in respect of the GFC, quite a big bump actually there, and more recently, more a bit of a blip there in terms of the COVID blip. And I think a great example of resilience of the world actually to get through those things quite quickly, but particularly a good example of the mining industry in terms of its response to COVID, being able to get through an essential industry and being able to get through. You can't say we didn't miss a beat. There was 1 or 2 beats missed, but we're up around that 90-odd% capacity. So that's really a great testament to the industry and the capability that we have there, Liam. So that's where we're going, where the super cycle will continue, and there's more on the way. Okay, so, and of course that's driven by, we're in for this multi-decade, what we would describe as multi-decade growth in commodities, and it's driven by China, India, Indonesia, the rest of the developing world, whether it be in Asia, Africa, or the Americas, or wherever it happens to be, for that matter, you're continuing to see long, strong growth over a period of time, driven by population growth, urbanisation, increasing wealth, and food security and resources security now getting a very good run. And just when you thought that we had plenty to do there in terms of all of this growth coming at us, we now have the energy transition, decarbonisation, net zero, whatever you want to call it. It is going to give that growth yet another boost in particular metals. So we've got plenty of growth still to come, and that gives us the confidence that we're going to see, continue to see that cycle or super cycle go on there. So that's long, strong demand. Which of the commodities are going to be winners here? In all of the so-called energy transition metals and commodities? Well, Carl's already talked about copper, so you want to be as long and strong as you possibly can in quality copper. But just about everything is a winner here. All of not the complete periodic table, but a lot of the metals here, won't go through them all. They're all winners one way or the other because they're all required for the energy transition. And this is going to go on for some time here, Liam. This is not a sprint and it's going to be all over, in 100 metres or 400 or 500 metres. This will go on for some time. And you've got, it's more than just a simple suite of thematics here. This is really a dynamic, and you've got people committing to 2030 net zero and 2035. China's out to 2060, and Prime Minister Modi has now taken us out to 2070. So we've got 50 years of this whole energy transition and probably beyond. And a couple of wow charts here in terms of copper, lithium, nickel, cobalt. They're the particular commodities that we like. But as I say, we like them all because they've all got a long way to go. So that's the demand side. We're in for long, strong, unbridled in a way, unstoppable commodity demand for the next multiple decades. On the supply side, which is where we are supply side people. We do add a little bit to demand each year with the mobile phones and various other things, but we're basically responsible for supply here, and we are the problem. In other words, there have been less discoveries, and this is another wow chart here in terms of copper discoveries, but they are too low to keep up with the amount that's going to be needed here. Yes, there's further capital gone in, but the discoveries are too low. And even when you actually make that discovery, we know what it's like on the supply side. It takes a long time to get these resources into production. And the permitting timelines, Liam, are actually getting longer. So yes, the world needs more commodities, and people are talking about resources, security, and so on and so forth. That's all very good, but you do need to shorten up those timelines to get it into production. And we are working, as you would expect, with governments everywhere to try and shorten up those timelines to get these discoveries into production. And in terms of the capital expenditure here, it really hasn't, over the past 10 years or so, it really hasn't kept pace with what is required to bring on those resources. So you're going to see that there's a squeeze going on here. Of course, the market will always clear, but the market clears at a particular price. So you will see prices continue to be under tension, but the commodities ultimately will rise there. So that, I suppose, Liam, is a little bit on the supply side there. Now, in terms of the opportunities, just a little bit of the opportunities between Australia and the African continent, and they've already been referred to here by Carl, already been referred to by the Deputy Minister there, so I won't bang on too long about this, Liam, but here, of course, we've got the map, and of all the particular commodities here in the periodic table, with the emphasis more on critical. and copper, and sort of ran out of postage stamps here as we got further north in Africa, but you don't need me to tell you there are wonderful, wonderful opportunities in Africa, as I say, multilateral, bilateral, unilateral, however you want to describe it, for resource development. And this is where the cooperation comes in, whether it's capital, whether it's technology, whether it's technical capability and various other attributes of the mining industry, because it is relatively well developed here in Australia. That's where the cooperation opportunities come in. And we've got a few little badges and emojis here of all the various organisations. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of them, not only in the mining industry, the companies themselves, but also in the METS, the mining equipment and technical services sector, as well as other advisors, consultants and technical groups. And just a couple of mentions here. In terms of government, CSIRO, Geoscience Australia, the Minister's very own DFAT and Austrade and so on, all very, very supportive, all very, very helpful, whether it comes to detailed technical work or offshore investment. So we get terrific support from the government. I mean, we whinge and grizzle and give them a bit of sledging every now and again, I suppose, but generally speaking, governments have been very supportive for our industry, and it's a very important, very important backstop to have, if you like. And all of the others, the professional organisations like the IMM and various others, SEEK and others here, and the ASX. They bought us a drink last night. Liam, the ASX, I mean, a wonderful, wonderful platform for raising capital, and a wonderful governance platform as well. So we believe that we've got best in world, best in class, best in show technology, capability, and a great weight of experience here, Liam, to be able to cooperate, continue to be able to cooperate with Africa. Okay, so a little bit now about what we do, Liam, in terms of the EMR Capital. We're a private equity fund. We've got multiple projects and operations around the world: Australia, Africa, Europe, the Americas. So we're sort of a little bit all over the place, you might say. We're deep operational experience, so we're not we are experienced operators, if you like. Good linkages worldwide, so we've been just about everywhere. Good track record, and we do focus on copper, gold, base and precious metals, critical minerals and metals, and so on in the base and precious area. But also on the bulk side, we focus on metallurgical coal and potash in the fertiliser space, you might say. So a bit of a focus there, if you like, and a couple of numbers there in terms of those things that we've actually done. We've got offices here in Australia, in Asia, and in the Cayman. As a private equity group here, just a couple of examples of the things, of the rigour and discipline that we have, that we go about our work with, in terms of these are the criteria, what we call the rule of 8. The things that you must have when you look at a particular project. It must have the scale, size. It doesn't have to be Rio Tinto or BHP scale, but it's got to have sufficient scale to have critical mass, if you like, or capable of actually getting to that type of scale. Must have grade, obviously. Grade is still king in our business, and grade or capable of getting there. So must have quality about it, must have a process that is already effectively defined, or not too many moving parts, not too much technical technology further required there. A process, whether it be on the mining side or the metallurgical processing side, must be low cost. Everybody wants the same, of course, or being able to get there. And I mean, yes, it's very important from a profitability perspective, but it's also very important to get through those humps and bumps that you know are going to come from time to time. So you must be able to survive when things do get a bit hump and bump there, must have long life or capable of getting to long life, and that's the best way that we know to have a long-term sustainable business, to be able to satisfy and reward effectively and develop all of your stakeholders, is have a long life sustainable business. Must have lots and lots of upside to grow, to make yourself more attractive than others, and in a stable jurisdiction and domain, effectively so important, not just only at the national government, provincial government, at the local government, but also at the community level. You've got to be able to work with people, because there's no point showing up if you don't have the confidence of all of those people in whose valley you are operating. So you must be able to do that. And I should say that that's a big focus for us, but it's also a big focus for, I think, as the Minister, Deputy Minister mentioned earlier, a big focus for all companies here in Australia, and governments as well, when they're promoting the Aussie companies. So they're the sort of what we call the rule of 8 there, Liam, in terms of those things that we look at. Speaking of which, in terms of jurisdictional appeal, if you like, we think that we're in Zambia. We've invested several $100 million in the Lubambe copper mine, and looking to do more there in Zambia, and looking to do more in other parts of Africa, I should say. So we're certainly open for business. But what we see here in Zambia is we have the Lubambe copper mine. We own it 80%. 20% is owned by ZCCM, our government mainly owned partner there. We're already a significant, or Zambia is a very significant producer in a world-class copper district. Terrific infrastructure and access to skilled labour in that copper belt. I mean, it's a prolific producer. And it's a pro-mining government, and the New Dawn government there under President Hichilema, and the new Mines Minister, Kabuzwe, who's actually coming to this conference, we believe, today. So very, very supportive of everything that the mining industry is doing. Has got a very clear target, Liam. It's going to get out to the 2030s, 3 million tonnes per annum of copper to be produced in the early 2030s, and we've also signed up to that, and we want to be part of it, and will be part of all of that. And green power supply, so very low carbon footprint, if you like, because 80 to 90% of the electricity generated in Zambia is from hydro. So very good, stable, appealing, attractive jurisdiction, when some of the other jurisdictions around the world, particularly you're seeing in South America and various other parts of the world, starting to get a bit in the news, as they say there. So particularly appealing there in Zambia. This is a quick shot now of the copper belt and all of the various between the northern part here of Zambia and the Congo. So all of the different operations, whether they be mining, open pit, underground. You've got all the metallurgical complexes you can think of here. You've got smelters, you've got acid plants, and you've got all manner of pyro and hydro metallurgical technology. So it's unparalleled, really, in the world to see this type of map, and literally only at this stage, even though it's been going on for multiple decades here, literally only scratching the surface. The best, as Carl said, the best is yet to come here in this belt. And you've got all the big guys here. First Quantum, very well represented, if not based here in Perth. Philip Pascal and a wonderful group, done a wonderful job here in Zambia and rest of the world. The bigger Chinese groups are there and have invested heavily in the country, technology and so on. So, you know, you've got a lot of very good badges here in this particular district. So a bit of advertising there for Zambia and the copper belt. Going on just specifically now to our operation here at Lubambe. It's an established operation, very good infrastructure at surface tailing storage facilities, underground infrastructure and so on in the existing mine, based on a 90 to 100 million tonnes, about 2% copper, so very good grade copper. And this is a plan of the area. This is the existing mining area, and what we have here is an absolute world-class undeveloped resource at depth, and that is called the extension ore body, no less than 250 million tonnes, 3.6% copper plus a cobalt, significant cobalt credit there. So that puts it as a world-class resource, and we already have the existing infrastructure at surface, mining leases and so on, to be able to develop it. And here just a couple of colours over here on the right-hand side. This is where we're mining at the moment. This is the extension area. And as you get further over here to the east and the south and the northern part of it, much hotter colours here, which signifies much higher copper grades there, Liam, in Lubambe. So world-class operation, and another little wow chart here just to show you of the so-called undeveloped ore bodies, copper ore bodies around the world. Lubambe takes its place here as one of the highest grades. So seriously world-class and competitive from that perspective. So Liam, really just a bit of advertising there for Lubambe, an EMR capital. Just wanted to make those couple of points. But above all, we see long, strong demand for commodities that we've just been talking about here. So, 30, 40, 50 years of that over a period of time. So we've got to get ourselves set for all of that. Plenty of opportunities in copper and other critical minerals and metals, a few humps and bumps along the way, a bit of top-down driven things going on here. So there's always a few humps, bumps and disruptions. But above all, we need to lift our game here on the supply side. So we've got to do more. And there'll be great advantages, actually, really good advantages and opportunities between Australian capital, people, technology and so on, and African countries. And I say multilaterally, bilaterally and unilaterally, there'll be lots of opportunities there, Liam, for all of us. So, and Lubambe, a world-class operation there. So, Liam, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. That's me there, EMR Capital. You can come and talk to me anytime at all. And we've got a couple of folks here. Rishul Dodia is here, and Georgie Fordyce from the EMR Capital team. So they're waiting, and we're open for business and happy to talk to anybody. So have a wonderful conference. Thank you very much.